Imagine a world where every person on Earth adopts a fully meat-based diet, abandoning plant-based foods. Such a shift in global eating habits would have profound consequences, touching on everything from environmental sustainability to food security and public health. While meat consumption is a staple in many diets, a world where everyone relies solely on animal-based foods would bring unique challenges and significant impacts. This is my thoughts on everything, and now we are going to talk about what if everyone became a meat eater? Here's an in-depth look at the far-reaching consequences of a non-vegan world. Environmental catastrophe. The environmental toll of widespread meat consumption is significant. Producing meat requires far more resources, land, water, and energy, compared to plant-based foods. Land usage and deforestation. Raising animals for food requires vast amounts of land for grazing and growing feed crops. To meet global demand, forests and natural habitats would need to be cleared at unprecedented rates, leading to the loss of biodiversity and accelerated deforestation, especially in regions like the Amazon rainforest. Water demand. Meat production consumes much more water than growing vegetables, grains, and legumes. For example, producing 1 pound of beef can require up to 1,800 gallons of water. If everyone ate meat, global water resources would be stretched to their limits, risking widespread water shortages. Greenhouse gas emissions. Livestock farming is a major contributor to greenhouse gases, particularly methane from cattle. A world of 100% meat consumption would lead to an explosion in methane and CO2 emissions, contributing heavily to climate change and accelerating global warming. Food insecurity and resource scarcity. With a global population nearing 8 billion, producing enough meat for everyone would put immense pressure on food systems and natural resources. Inefficient resource use. Animal agriculture is inefficient because animals consume large amounts of feed, water, and energy to produce a smaller amount of consumable meat. For example, it takes around 7 pounds of feed to produce 1 pound of beef. This inefficiency could lead to food shortages, especially in countries already facing food insecurity. Public health implications. A universal shift to a meat-based diet could have serious health implications, both directly and indirectly. Chronic health conditions. Diets rich in red and processed meats have been linked to an increased risk of heart disease, certain cancers, especially colorectal cancer, and other chronic conditions. A shift to universal meat consumption could lead to higher rates of these health issues, straining healthcare systems worldwide. Zoonotic diseases. High-density animal farming increases the risk of zoonotic diseases, diseases that spread from animals to humans. A world reliant on large-scale animal farming could see a rise in outbreaks, with potential for more pandemics like COVID-19. Loss of biodiversity and natural habitats. The global ecosystem relies on a balance of species and habitats. An increase in meat production would push this balance to the brink, impacting biodiversity and ecosystems. Expanding grazing lands and feed crop farms would result in the loss of forests, wetlands, and grasslands. Cultural and ethical considerations. Dietary choices are often deeply tied to culture, religion, and ethics. A world where everyone eats meat would create both social and ethical dilemmas. Cultures with strong traditions of plant-based diets, such as those found in India and parts of Asia, would face the challenge of cultural loss as meat becomes the universal norm. Many people choose plant-based diets out of concern for the environment. A world reliant on meat consumption would go against environmental ethics and animal welfares. Conclusion. Achieving a balanced and sustainable food system requires embracing dietary diversity and promoting plant-based options alongside responsible meat consumption. A resilient food future lies not in extremity, but in balance, recognizing the need for sustainable agricultural practices, diverse diets, and an ethical approach to feeding a growing global population. That's all for today. Thank you.